Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian Enwada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasy, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasy.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair young and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all!
Zero oil.
Nandito ako nung nagpa-practice mag-bike ng anak ko.
Nandito ako nung nag-birthday si Mommy.
Dito ako nag-celebrate ng wedding anniversary namin.
Distance will always be a problem. So choose a home that makes life more fulfilling by bringing you closer to everything that matters the most. Arezzo Place Pasig. Live fulfilled.
Finma Properties, making room to build your future.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasy, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasy.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair young and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all!
Zero oil.
Nandito ako nung nagpa-practice mag-bike ng anak ko.
Nandito ako nung nag-birthday si Mommy.
Dito ako nag-celebrate ng wedding anniversary namin.
Distance will always be a problem. So choose a home that makes life more fulfilling by bringing you closer to everything that matters the most. Arezzo Place Pasig. Live fulfilled.
Finma Properties, making room to build your future.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasy, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasy.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi, isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair young and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all!
Zero oil.
Okay, and we're live. Good afternoon to everyone. A wonderful Wednesday to each and every one of you. I know it's raining cats and dogs right now in Manila, but it is still a wonderful Wednesday. So welcome to another live webinar series forecast powered by Ariva Academy. Good afternoon to our Zoom participants, and hello, hi, and hello to our FB, YouTube, and LinkedIn viewers right now. Don't forget to share and like our e-learning session today. So our topic for this afternoon is how to connect with clarity and confidence, building community in times of uncertainty and isolation. My name is Irish Malonda Samson, your host, and join me in welcoming our moderator, Mr. Howell Mabalot.
Rainy afternoon, Miss Irish Malonda Samson, and our dear participants. Is blue the color of the day?
Yes, for me.
So, naka-blue tayo pareho.
Okay. So, Sir Howell, join me in welcoming our international participants, our participants who are watching overseas, and they are watching from Kowloon, Hong Kong, Chennai, India, South Jakarta, Indonesia, Cork, Ireland, Petaling Jaya, Malaysia, Johor Bahru, Malaysia, Lalitpur, Nepal, Doha, Qatar, Singapore, Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, Petersfield, United Kingdom, and of course, Australia. And also, hi and hello to the OFW, the overseas Filipino workers who are watching right now. Okay? And in order for us to have a smooth flow of our e-learning session, here are the house rules. Who are first-time viewers of our webinar, please type in hi in the chat box now. And if this is your second time, third time, or fourth time to watch our webinar, please type in hello and where are you from so we can greet you as well. Okay, so let's check. Good afternoon, Leonard Reyes. Rainy afternoon from Frances Lim. Okay, so let's check as well. From Lisa Flores, hello. Benedicto Cruz, hi sir, welcome to our e-learning session. Monique Salazar. Janeline Caringal is watching from Manila. And Margaret Vista, good afternoon. Christian Elepa from Batangas, hello sir. Okay. From San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, Gentle Mary Ching, Matthew Joan Ablasa from Quezon City, welcome to our e-learning session. From Australia, hello Sir Val Clark, Benedicto Cruz Paranaque. Okay, so let's do a sound check. You will be needing good quality headset. Please type in now 111 to show if you can hear me loud and clear and I am audible. 111. Thank you, Francis. 111. Okay, Christian, John Vincent, thank you. 111. Matthew Joen, Jenna Lynn, Gentle, Mary Shalimar, Bartolome, 111. Leonard Reyes, thank you. Okay, 222 means you cannot hear me or no sound at all. 2121 means our sound is breaking up or there's a log. And question mark if you don't understand anything. So far, Sir Howell, 111.
Wonderful.
We will be having a quick break later after the presentation of our guest speaker and before we move on to our question and answer portion. Participants' microphones will be temporarily disabled by the administrator during discussion to avoid interruptions. Questions will be entertained after each topic of the session. For questions and clarifications during the provided time after each topic, please click the raise hand button for the administrator to enable the microphone for live questions. Later at the question and answer portion, we will entertain live questions from our Zoom participants. Type in your questions at the Q&A box, again at the Q&A box, not in the chat box. One question at a time will be entertained. For comments and feedback, please scan this QR code. This will be directed to our feedback form. Please help us to improve our future e-learning sessions. And now, discuss how to connect with clarity and confidence, building community in times of uncertainty and isolation. Sir Howell, we are very privileged to have another global keynote speaker to discuss with us this e-learning session. So take it away, sir.
We definitely are fortunate, blessed, of course, this opportunity to hear our speaker is something that we looked forward to in the past few days. Today's speaker is widely known as an engaging international speaker and author who inspires leaders and entrepreneurs to connect with confidence. As a speaker, author, and leadership coach, her message goes beyond cultural borders, tapping into a yearning that lies within each of us, the desire to connect with those around us. Best known for her book, Do Talk to Strangers, How to Connect with Anyone, Anywhere. She's an expert at equipping audiences with thought-provoking and practical tools to develop the confidence they need in order to expand their network and create more opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Coach Kerrie Phipps. Hello, Coach Kerrie.
Hello, Howell, and hello, team. Hello, Val, 5 minutes down the road, and all our friends in Philippines, Dubai. What an amazing audience you've gathered, and what a great team you have there, Howell.
Thank you. You look great in red, Coach Kerrie.
Thank you. It is.
So how's the weather in Australia?
Well, it's quite lovely at the moment, and I actually have a little photo to share with you of our neighbourhood in recent times. It's a beautiful time of year, starting to get chilly, and of course, then I'll really, really be wanting to come and visit you all in the Philippines.
And I would like to congratulate the government of Australia for winning the fight against COVID-19. Your government did a great job. So you must be proud.
Yeah, it's a great place to be, and I think there's been great leadership. So, but it's a big deal for everyone everywhere in the world, and
it is.
Yeah, it's been amazing to see people working together, and seeing how can we collaborate, how can we do beautiful things even when things are difficult. So yeah, there's lots of inspiring stories too. And a hello to Patricia Lim, who is from Cebuana Luelia, who invited me to go and speak to their team several years ago.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a reunion here today, Howell.
It is. And this is the beauty of technology. We can connect with clarity and hopefully with confidence despite physical distance. And having said that, Coach Kerrie, Phipps, we are so excited to hear from you now. So take it away, Coach Kerrie.
Thank you so much. And clarity comes, the confidence comes when we have clarity. So let's look into how we can get more of that. Thank you, Howell. And I'm glad you're sitting there, because I think we'll have, I'll collaborate with you as we move through this PowerPoint too. I love a conversation, and I miss all your smiling faces, but I know that they're out there, but at the moment it's just me and Howell. But we're going to talk about connecting with confidence. And of course, in your slide, you saw that I talked about connecting with clarity and confidence. So we're going to go so much more inside today. Often when people want to talk to the author of Do Talk to Strangers, they want all the tips and all the practical things that we can do. And we will get to more of that later, but we really need to look within, because it's very easy to just jump online and send messages and make up posts and send them out. But to actually spend time within and wonder, how would this land if somebody sent this to me? Or what does this really mean to other people who haven't grown up in the space that I've grown up in? We can so easily cause misunderstandings. So we want to be in a really nice, clear thinking space. So first of all, good afternoon from Australia. I hope you can see my little flag waving and my little kangaroo friend there. I was asking my mum, did she have a photo that it's one of those family photos that you never forget, but you can't think how long ago it is that you've seen it. But there's a photo of my mum crouching down with me as a 2 or 3 year old with a little tiny, smaller than this, baby Joey on the road, and we rescued it. Yeah, we rescued it and took it to the zoo, but it did live in our kitchen for a week or two, which was pretty cool. So this is a hello from my neighbourhood. Because it's autumn, all the leaves are changing colour. And this week I had a great conversation with Anne, who is part of your team there at Ariva, and I was walking down the street with her and I said, I know we're finished our conversation, but stay with me for like a couple more meters and I'll show you a stunning tree that's all these different colours. So it's one of the things that just
definitely stunning.
Yeah, so it's 3 p.m. there in the Philippines. I don't know if everyone's got a coffee.
It is.
You're sitting there ready. Hopefully you can take notes today also. This coffee is not just a nice picture of coffee, but this was taken in a cafe in Makati by my husband.
Wow.
Yeah, so there we go, Philippines coffee. Mm-hmm. And I do have a few special connections to the Philippines, and the first goes way back. I think a lot of people recognize these beautiful shoes. In fact, I do have them here. I can't see my camera, so I'm not sure if you're seeing if I'm in the right place. But
Coach Kerrie, do you know how we call that? Do you know how we call that and what we call that?
I know it starts with B-A, but I've lost the name of
Bakya. It's bakya.
Bakya.
Yeah, it's bakya. Beautiful bakya. That's very representative of Philippines.
Yes. So they're very
And look
special.
at those intricate beadworks.
Yes, yeah, it's really quite amazing, and they're in perfect condition. I've only worn them on carpet, but my grandmother bought them back 50 years ago.
Wow.
So she went to the Philippines just after my parents got married, and she got these shoes that happened to be the perfect size for me. And here I am in the Philippines just a couple of years ago. So we're going to cover a little of my story today, from the beginnings on the farm with little kangaroos and going to the Philippines a number of times in the recent years. But first of all, I want to check in. How are you? So whether you're watching from Malaysia, Johor, I was there just recently. If you're watching from KL, if you're in Dubai, Qatar, where is everyone coming from? I know there were so many places mentioned earlier. Here in, Chile, a little bit sunny Dubbo, and all over the Philippines. So how are you going?
So Coach Kerrie, can you see their inputs at the chat room, or do you want me to read them for you?
I can look at the chats here.
Okay,
on
good. So good.
Phone, yes.
Let me know if you need some assistance, okay?
But yeah, because you will probably see comments that I don't see. At the moment, I can see, hi, Miss Irish, you look great. That's from Jamie. Jamie's obviously an awesome encourager. And then hi, Kerrie from Patricia. Are there comments after that?
In a while.
If there's others, then I might have missed them. So please keep me informed. Okay, so you see these emojis, and there are so many more, but this is just one little screenful. So it's important to take a moment to notice, how am I feeling right now? And so we might just, how I'm feeling excited.
Me too.
But, at other times in the day, I felt daunted. I felt frustrated by technology. I felt grateful for your amazing team. I felt, a little chilly and lonesome, waiting for my husband to come home and help me fix something. So we go through all of these different feelings. I haven't felt green at all today, which is great. But we're going to flick forward and ask, how are you feeling at the moment? So if everyone would put it in the chat, that would be awesome. Can you put, one or two words? Maybe you're feeling challenged but inspired, or maybe you're feeling a little down, a bit flat. Everyone here is in a different situation. I know some of you, there's contented, there's sad. We have been living in very unusual times, and for some people it's been extremely traumatic. For others, it's just been a time to go, oh, okay, I need to reassess. There's excitement, feeling great, relaxed, ecstatic for another great learning. Yes, you guys have been doing some fantastic learnings. Hopeful, that is fantastic. Full, that's awesome. So, what else? We don't have to cover this now, but yeah, why not? Tell me, what is your favorite Philippine food? I just love anything coconut, but I was reminded of adobo today, which I had with Patricia, and I have been
adobo from Francis Lim, adobo.
Someone's written that already, Francis. Thank you. Yes, you might be feeling unproductive. That's right. Excited for a new food delivery business. That's so exciting, because there are opportunities when things are challenging. We go, oh, how can I do things differently? Maybe we feel like we really have had our hands tied behind our back and we just cannot do anything. So if we take the time to just go, okay, how am I feeling right now? Am I feeling defeated? Okay, let's be honest about that. And then we can move forward. But sometimes we just try to ignore how we're feeling. So we might unpack a little bit more of that. And Val says she's never visited, but I think we need to change that, because she's going to love. Buko juice. Yes. Anything coconut. I went to this amazing place in Cebu. I have to tell you, I've had less than 24 hours in Cebu. I landed at 7:30 in the morning. I was taken to breakfast. I had about an hour to have a nap, and then, because I'd flown all night via Singapore, I went up to the top of the mountain, and there's this beautiful restaurant that's like open and just 360-degree views, and it was stunning. But I still remember the curry. 2016, this time, May 2016, and I'll never forget that. Okay, so I just would love to know, thanks, Hal. I just would love to know who's on the call today in terms of where are we at? Are you employed? Are you unemployed? Are you self-employed? So there's a poll there. So let's see. It's great to see the poll because we can see where everyone's at.
So, dear participants, please accomplish the question. The first question at the poll: are you currently employed, unemployed, self-employed? So you have a minute to do that. We appreciate those who are typing in their answer at the webinar chat, but we also would like you to please answer the poll question. I wonder if you can see it from your end. I'm sure. I heard you are using Mac right now.
Yes.
Can you see the poll question?
I can actually, which is fantastic. So, and I recognize that some people might be full-time studying, but then when I thought about putting study in there, I thought, well, you could be employed and studying. You could be unemployed and studying. You could be self-employed and studying. Because, we're all learners, aren't we? And and even if we're not studying full-time, we're always learning. So
yes, we are.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting. So most people are employed, and I really want to thank you for taking time out this afternoon to spend with me. And I wanted to ask that question because Howell, I saw that just last week the unemployment rate in the Philippines has rocketed and
3.2 million.
Yeah, was it? Okay, now I've got my. Okay. No, I should have written my numbers down, but I just went, it's a significant jump from where it was in January, so it's like, and I think in a lot of countries, same here, as cafes and restaurants closed and so many shops closed, people are out of work. So it's a very challenging time, but it's also that time where we ask ourselves, what do I want to do differently? And so connecting with clarity and confidence is super important because this is a great time to be connecting with people who inspire us. We might be connecting in a new 7 million unemployed Filipinos. That's what I read the other day, and I think it's 5 million
okay
more.
But the 3.2 are those who just recently lost their job
yes
due to COVID-19 right. But 7M that's the total number of people who lost their jobs.
So that is devastating. And so some people turn to self-employment, which is great. And the essence of whatever we're doing, whether we're employed or whether we're self-employed or looking for a job, it's all about connecting with others, isn't it?
Yes.
And we can race into how do I connect better with CEOs? How do I connect better with the C-suite? Or how do I connect better with customers? How do I connect in a job interview? But we need to be asking ourselves, how do I connect with myself? Am I listening to the conversations within? So thank you for answering that poll. That's great. I'll just slip that to the side. Okay, so while we are connecting with others, listening is so important. Listening to ourselves and listening to others. So we're going to have a look at what's going on up here. What's going on in our thinking? We know there's a lot going on there. And attention changes the brain. So while we look at the brain today, we're going to look at what are we paying attention to. And I thought you might particularly like this photo. I'm 90% certain this is a photo I took as I was leaving Balisin Island, which is just off Manila. Oh. It's just a stunning island. But, you come home from trips and you've got so many photos. But I'm pretty certain that was Balisin Island. From a connection and another introduction, and then somebody says, can I take you to my private members only island? And I said, of course, thank you.
And that definitely is a very expensive
island.
Balisin.
You know Balisin Island. I was greatly honoured to be taken there. So Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz is the author of You Are Not Your Brain and a number of other neuroscience books. He is kind of the founding father, one of the founding fathers of neuroscience in terms of neuroplasticity, explaining neuroplasticity, how we can change our own brain. And so I met Dr. Schwartz in 2007. He came to the first Neuro Leadership Summit in Sydney, and they've done a couple in Sydney, but mostly there on either side of the US. So he says you don't have to let your brain push you around. We can think thoughts like, oh, I'm not good at connecting, I'm introverted, I'm not good at those things. But we can have a different conversation when we notice the conversation in our head, when we start listening to ourselves, not just to others. Okay, so I'm interested to know, how connected are you feeling at the moment? Because as we've been in isolation, the topic of conversation right across the world has been connection. You know, there's people singing on their balconies and there's so many different things happening. So some people are feeling more connected, which I found really interesting, because maybe you're spending more time at home and you're spending cherished time with your family that you might have spent commuting previously. Some people are feeling less connected because they just can't get out and see their friends, and interesting that quite a few feel about the same. But yeah, let's just give it a minute.
Yeah, so let's give our participants, please answer the poll question number 2. Do you feel more connected, less connected, or just about the same in this time of isolation? In the Philippines, we call it quarantine.
Yes. And it's interesting that it was called social distancing, and now the government has changed their language and it's called physical distancing, which I think is so much better, because we're creating a physical distance between ourselves and others when we're like passing people in the shops and in cafes. But social distancing is not such a good idea because we need to be socially connected.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, someone's created a vegetable garden, which we did too. I haven't grown vegetables since I was in high school, I think, Hal, but I said to my husband, I think we're going to be home for a while. We had planned to spend most of this year in Asia, so we would have been there in the Philippines. I said to him, I think we're going to be home for a while, so we could grow some vegetables. And I just like the idea of sharing them with the neighbours.
And because the Philippines is also a very agricultural country, we have been growing that since as a kid as well.
Yeah.
Coach Kerrie, 50% are more connected.
That's fantastic. And then the others are less connected or about the same. So that is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And so for those who are feeling more connected, you might notice some things as we're talking today that help you understand why that is. Why are you feeling more connected? And what is it that you've been doing that might be a really powerful habit to continue after you get your freedom and start moving around more? What are the things that you've done to stay connected or to reach out to others that you might do more of? And for those feeling less connected or about the same, then there might be some insights today that will help you also to move forward and feel more connected. Okay, so we're talking a lot about awareness, and this is another neuroscientist that I've been learning from over the last 10 years or so. And Dr. Dan Siegel, he said the power of awareness changes our well-being. And I would say it really changes everything, doesn't it? Because we can't move on from a problem until we know what is it actually that's going wrong here. What's happening. So we'll have a look at awareness. So we're going to dive into some of the content of the asking model, which is in the Do Talk to Strangers book. And I'm just wondering if you're seeing me okay, because I can't see myself, but as long as
we're seeing you beautifully, Coach Kerrie.
As long as I'm not,
don't worry about it.
As long as I'm not moving off camera, in my walking around. Okay, so it all starts with awareness, and it's about self-awareness and awareness of others. So what is the conversation in your head? That was a question that stopped me in my tracks in 2004, and it helped me realize that while there's the conversation that's going on that you're having with other people, but there's something going on behind the scenes. And it might be, I'm not good enough at this, or everybody else is more professional, everybody else is more experienced. Have you ever had that other people are better conversation in your head?
Yes.
And Hal's nodding, because of course he might just go, no, I don't think so.
No,
but I'm sure that there are.
You actually feel that.
Yeah, we do. We don't know anyone else's story, but we just see that they have a nice suit and we just think, oh, they just are so much more experienced than me. Well, maybe they just have a nice suit.
Yeah.
So we can't be too hard on ourselves. Now, this is my hand painted to look like a brain by a friend of mine who's a world champion body paint artist, and he got the the medical book out and looked at this brain and started painting it, so we can have conversations about it. But back to Dr. Daniel Siegel, I want to show you his hand model of the brain so we can see what's going on inside. So if you just want to hold your hand up like this and tuck your thumb in. Now, this is an important part, and I'm pointing out this part of my husband's hand brain. And that is the emotional center of the brain. So that's where when you see somebody and they frown at you and your brain suddenly goes into a threat state. They don't like me. And the truth is they might be passing you by thinking, what am I going to feed everybody for dinner tonight? But we see the frown on their face and we just think, what did I do? They don't like me. We make it about us. So we need to know this part of our brain is keeping us safe. It's on the lookout for threats. And a social threat is read by the brain in the same way that a physical threat is. So we can just say, okay, thank you, I see you, but I want to do my focused thinking. So if you just fold your fingers over the top, and so that is like our forehead, behind our forehead, that's our prefrontal cortex. So it's where we're doing our focused thinking, weighing up options, and that's the focused work. And, we work this part of our brain really hard. It's like the stage or the desk that we put everything on, that we're trying to work on, figure things out. And then little interruptions, like somebody's tone of voice, or as I said before, the look on their face, or something happens that then upsets everything. And so then you actually go back to this state. And Dr. Siegel calls it he calls it flipping your lid. So you can't actually have both areas going at the same time. So when we're in a threat state, we're not doing our best thinking. And have you ever noticed that, maybe when you're driving and somebody cuts you off in traffic and you get frustrated, you're not the best driver in that moment. And how it actually feels a bit funny for me to say that to a Filipino audience, because I have been in crazy traffic in the Philippines and everybody's calm. And
everybody is.
And it's just like beep, beep, beep. And that, beep, beep would be read by an Australian driver in Australia as aggression. And I say to the driver, what is that communicating? It's just like, oh, I'm here. It's just like, so we don't bump into each other. We're just communicating. And this is the important thing about asking questions, not assuming that something is a threat. Yeah. So down the back here, so if you look at the back of your hand, that's where we do sort of save all our memories. And it's like we use this language, don't we, that we've just filed something away.
Yeah.
Or if we see someone coming towards us in the mall and we haven't seen them for a long time and we think, oh, what's their name? What's their name? What's their name?
I know this person.
I should know their name. And so what's happening is we're literally reaching back for this memory that we haven't accessed for a while. But also we're going into a threat state because we don't want them to think that we are ignoring them or that we don't know their name. And so it actually sends us into a flipped lid state. And then we can't think of the name and we just say, hi, and we feel nervous, and that's just getting in the way of a good conversation. And so people often ask me, how do you remember people's names? So let's just pause and have a little tip around this. Is that okay? So when I have that moment and I think, oh, I should know this person's name, I just let it go, because if I worry about it, it makes it worse. I think everyone would relate to that. You try harder and harder, and then you're like, does it start with M? M. Oh, that's right, it's Howell. It's like, it's not M at all. So let it go and just enjoy seeing them and just like, hi, how are you? It's good to see you, Howell. Because as I just connect, as I make my intention to connect, to make you feel welcome, I let it go, and usually the name comes to me. And sometimes it's like, a few sentences in, and then I'm like saying goodbye, and it's like, it's so good to see you, Howell. And you go, she does know my name. And occasionally I've had to say, I'm sorry, I can't think of your name. I know I should know it. And we just laugh about it because other people experience this too, don't they?
Yes, we do.
It's human. It's human. And we can just go, I'm just having a moment. I can't think. But sometimes we get caught out with unexpected moments. Like I said to a lady, she was so excited to see me. Chat. She's like, what you've been doing great lately is fantastic. And I was like, can you just remind me, where was it that we were last talking? Because I thought if I can see her in a particular place, that will help the memories come back. So I was like, where was it that we last connected? And she said, oh, we've never met before. I've just seen you in the paper. So I just went, oh, okay, that's why. I was trying so hard to remember you. Okay, so this is what our brain looks like a little bit. I mean, obviously that's a tree overlaid with a brain, but I want you to look at the tiny little ends, the tiny little shoots. So if you can imagine that the other way around, like planted in the ground, what do roots look like? And I actually have Exhibit A here. My husband got this plant from somebody, just cut it off, put it into this pot just to grow some roots. And can you see the roots there?
Yes, we can. It's
yeah. So he was going to plant it weeks ago, but it just keeps growing roots. And that's like the new ideas in our brain. They're so fragile. And so we want to nurture the ones that are worth paying attention to. So remember that photo of Ballysin Island, and Dr. Schwartz was saying attention changes the brain. So what are we going to pay attention to? We see those fragile new thoughts. Maybe it's a new idea, a dream, an aspiration, and we think, oh, I could write about this. And then we just go, oh, no, I'm not a good writer. My sister's a better writer than me, or, my teacher said I couldn't write. And so those fragile little roots of an idea can be crushed. So I just want to help you remember that those little bursts of inspiration, to pay attention to them. And the ways that we can pay attention is writing about them, talking about them to people who believe in us, who, and sometimes it's talking to a total stranger because they're not going to judge you. They're not going to say, but, you've never done anything like that before. Like what happens when you tell a stranger an idea? They just go, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I knew somebody that did that. It's a conversation without, judgment or assumption, which is just one of the reasons that people tell me they love talking to strangers. So we're just going to switch gears for a moment and talk about nervousness, because it's like that moment when you're wanting to remember somebody's name, when you want to connect with somebody and you don't because you feel nervous. So I want to ask, what is your purpose? And this is something I put on Facebook or Instagram a number of years ago. And it keeps coming back to me, but I feel like I need to explain a little further. When your purpose is around serving others, making someone's day, then your nervousness really does disappear. Because if I walk into a room and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if I look okay, I should have worn the other suit, what will they think of me? Then it's my thinking is inward. It's like worry. But if I walk in thinking, I wonder if anybody else here is new, maybe I can help somebody feel welcome. How would other people be feeling right now? And if my purpose is to serve, then it's just an absolute delight to connect with people. So people have often made this assumption that I'm just a really confident person. And I think, really? No, not at all. But when my focus is on others, then it's easy. And the other side of this is when your purpose is clear and greater than your fear, your nervousness will disappear. But what impact will it have? So what is your purpose? Because I'm sure, Howard, you might have encountered connections with people whose purpose is to just get another sale, get another client.
Yes. Even from friends.
You feel it, don't you?
Yeah, we can have that gut feel that something's not right.
Yeah, we feel it.
Especially if they ask you for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
To go, it's actually networking.
Yeah, and you're like, what's the purpose of the coffee?
Yeah, what's the purpose of that coffee?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, and somebody has said here, and I will come back to the uncertainty, so thank you for that comment too, but my purpose is to glorify God in everything I do. And I think that's beautiful. And I would ask, so what specifically does that look like with other people? How do I serve people, or how do I connect with people. It's just playing with words and going, what is that? I wrote in my most recent book, it's the travel toolkit, which is kind of a bit funny to talk about because no one's traveling right now. But I wrote about the, here it is. I wasn't planning to read this, but you get a little extra, well, it's not bedtime reading for you guys, is it? But maybe if do we have anyone from New Zealand?
Anybody from New Zealand?
Okay, so strangers in Jewish, Christian, and Muslim writings and beliefs are to be welcomed, honoured, and shown hospitality. We're all people, after all, and to many it's believed to be an expression of the goodness of God. So when we connect with people, when we show them the best in us, and we can bring out the best in them too. So that's just a little side note, but that lovely comment there, I just thought I will respond to that too. So moving forward, here is this little girl connecting with more animals than people. So the brown one is the bull, and the black and white one, I milked her most days. Sometimes there wasn't time before school and Dad would do it, but I did grow up milking the cow, and I was quite confident around animals. I'm not sure how old I am there, but wrestling a sheep was no problem, but talking to a human being could be a bit daunting. But my dad always pushed me out of the comfort zone. This is just one of the fun things that we do on the farm. He's just, dug a big dam there, to water the sheep, but also to have a bit of playtime at. So he's had swings over it. He's done all kinds of things. And there I am next to Dad on the top of this bridge, and I would have been about 7 or 8 because I was next on the rope. We were letting down my brother, who was about 1 or 2 years old. So we started young.
1 or 2 year old.
Yeah, it's like as soon as you're big enough to have a harness wrapped around you. So I think Dad always wanted us to overcome our fears. And he was actually a PT instructor in the army, and so we had obstacle courses. We had all kinds of, I don't know what they're called in the Philippines. I know there's all kinds of ninja warrior courses and mud runs, and I'm I grew up with all of that. Yeah. We did all of those things. And so it was abseiling off bridges or, down buildings and all kinds of fun. And this probably looks a little familiar to my Filipino friends, because I know that I'll do it one day over there. But at that stage, I was too small. At most carnivals or, rides, they have like a measurement. And it's like, if you're taller than this line, then you can go. Well, I was like under the line significantly. I was too small. I was not heavy enough. And my dad said to the guy operating it, she'll be fine. Please let her have a go. So I did. And then he bought a parachute like that, adapted it, and we used it on the farm behind a vehicle. So, extra fun. And of course, this is the kind of thing that we did with friends that were like skydiving friends a little further away from home. That's really fun, motorized skydive and motorized hang gliding, and then they run out of petrol when you're in the air and you're like, what do we do now? It's all right, we'll just glide down. So I've had my heart in my throat a lot of times growing up doing scary things, but talking to people is scarier. And so how did I get from doing those things and just being the girl on the farm that can connect with animals to writing books and traveling the world and talking to people about connecting with confidence? And I would say it's been a journey of honesty, self-honesty, and very much the encouragement of others. So I really want to encourage. Now, who did I say? Jamie, I think right at the beginning. I said Jamie is an encourager.
Yes.
She said something lovely. Encouragers are powerful people. So when you think about who has encouraged you in your life, sometimes it is a stranger who just says, that was a fantastic thing that you did, or, everyone's situations will be different. Maybe there's an auntie, maybe there's a grandma who has just said something simple like, you could do that. And those words you've grabbed onto and you're like, maybe I could do that. So just a shout out to all the encouragers. And I realized in asking myself, asking God, asking other people, like, what am I on the planet for? Like, what is my purpose? It's a big question to grapple with. And I was working with a coach at the time and writing things out. And I realized, I think I'm just here to encourage people. And then I felt like, well, that's not very important. But I started to realize it is so important. And so to anyone who feels that they're not technically skilled, they're not good at so many things, it's very easy to list what we're not good at, isn't it, Howell?
Yes.
We can list all the things that other people are better at. But if we look at what is it that I can do, what is it that I can offer, and now it's called soft skills, and now Google says that that's like the most important, 6 out of 10 of the most important skills in the workplace are soft skills. But we can think, my gift of encouragement is not very significant. But when you think about the difference that it makes between success and failure with completing something or just giving up, it's a really, really powerful thing. So thank you to all the encouragers in my world. And excuse me, I'm just tearing a little paper away. So how are we going for time? We've got lots of time. Where do we want to connect with people? Oops. I'm just trying to move my poll.
It's okay.
So let's put this in the chat box. JM is an encourager. I met JM in 2016, actually, when I met Patricia Lynn. Okay, so where do you connect with others? So I've just put a few samples in there. But I'm sure that we can have a look in the chat box and put some more things in. But where do you connect with others? At the moment, there might not be much connecting out walking or in shopping centres. I know some of you are employed, but some of you are employed at home, and some of you are in workplaces. Have some water, please. Where else are we connecting? Cafes. In Australia, the cafes have been open for takeaway only. So you go for a walk, get a takeaway coffee, walk back. But there's just like, hi, connecting with people. And of course...
Kerrie, I'm sorry. Have you seen the webinar chat room comment by Miss Irish, Sir JM? Can you see it from your end?
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, but the her name was so tiny, I couldn't see who said it. Yes. That is so lovely. And now that I know who said it, that's great, because I know JM's probably encouraged so many people. But I talked to Irish this afternoon, which was just lovely. Yeah. Okay, so we're connecting on Facebook, Workplace, YouTube, Messenger, Facebook and Zoom, yes. Is anyone else feeling a bit zoomed out?
Zoom meetings from Melodias Juan, Leonora.
Yes. So many online meetings, yes. And has anyone just been making phone calls to check in with people? How are you going? There are so many places that we can connect. And what have been the surprising connections? Has it been the phone calls from somebody, or has it been messages on LinkedIn, Facebook, etc.? Support groups, yeah. So a lot of religious communities, like churches and temples, have not been having people meeting face to face, so they're going on Zoom, or they're messaging people one-on-one, making phone calls, all kinds of things. So as we saw in the beginning, 50% of the people on the call today are feeling more connected, because we realised, and it's an old song, isn't it? You don't realise what you've got till it's gone. We have these moments of connection all the time. All of a sudden, it's like we're sent to our rooms and we're like, oh, it really matters that I connect with people. Yeah, there's Microsoft Teams. There's so many ways to be connecting. Now, I want to skip to the end of the asking model because literally I can spend a whole day. I spent a day with Patricia's team at Luelier on the asking model. But we're going to skip ahead to gratitude, because gratitude is a powerful connector. Have you noticed that when you thank somebody for their efforts, when you thank somebody for what they bring to the job, or whatever it is that we're expressing gratitude for, if we're specific, thank you, it can be really quite powerful, not just because it's encouraging, but because it also is informative. So I would say I have learned from other people's gratitude. Because when they say, thank you for this, it made a difference because, and I go, that's interesting. Have you ever noticed that? Sometimes people acknowledge you for something that you did and you go, wow, I could have left that bit out. So now I'm glad that I haven't. I'll include that again.
In fact, in our line of work, we will be receiving private messages thanking us for an impact that we never intended to. I mean, they would thank us for such aha moments, Coach Kerrie.
Yes. And in fact, I did a Zoom like this recently, and somebody connected with me on LinkedIn, and she said, thank you so much for your session. I really appreciated how you spoke about the, being specific with your gratitude. And I wrote back and I went, wow, well, thank you, because that's an exact example of what I'm talking about. Yeah. Just now somebody has popped in and said on LinkedIn and said, thank you for a great article on how one can serve the world. That's interesting. It's not even published yet. So that's one of the co-authors.
Oh, wow.
where Asia professional speakers, I don't know if I can tell you this. I think I can tell you, but I just can't share it yet. But very soon we are launching a book that we've co-written together. So it's exciting. We've written it especially for this time. Yes. So, I don't think it's a secret that we're writing it, but we just can't share the articles yet.
We'll keep it to ourselves in the meantime.
Yeah. Like how many of us are there? There's a beautiful comment here. Gratitude gives me a sense of fulfillment of meeting others' needs, whether financial, moral, or emotional. Yes. And you know what? Sometimes we feel like it's the big stuff, that if we could just give somebody an envelope of cash, we would feel like I've made a difference. And that's amazing if you can do that, because we all know that sometimes you just go, I just wish that somehow, those stories of miracles where somebody opened the door and there was an envelope of cash. We've all wanted that at some stage. So that's awesome if it's that, but moral or emotional support.
Yes.
Sometimes it's the littlest thing, isn't it? It's the awareness of ourselves and thinking, oh, I feel a bit anxious. I said this to my husband this afternoon. If I'm not aware of how I'm feeling, and I actually felt quite sad on Saturday, just with everything going on in the world and people accusing people of different things, and I haven't seen my son since January because of the isolation, and he's 11 hours drive from here. And I actually felt really sad, which is quite rare for me, but I just felt sad. And I said to him, if we're not aware and can't articulate that, then people that we encounter might think it's about them and think, oh, what did I do? She doesn't like me. And so if I can be honest and just go, how are you going? I'm not myself today, but how are you? Then that can put people at ease. Yes. That's another being specific. And so that emotional support is powerful, just to lift someone's spirits. And, I'm going to tell you about a tiny moment of connection the other day. So we go for a walk, we go to this cafe, and there's a new girl there. Now, can everyone think back to your first day on the job? There's so much information, and there's someone training you, and they say, look, don't worry about all this. You just need to do this and 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 this. And you're like, I can't take it. And so this poor girl at the cafe, she's so focused on the task. And so she asked me, what would I like? And, so hi. And an espresso plate, 2 espressos, thanks. And she said, what size? And like an espresso is just a little short black. And so the barista standing behind her kind of laughed, and he knows what we have. And then my husband spoke to her in Spanish, and whatever the word was, for the short black espresso. And she lit up to see that he spoke her language. And it was such a beautiful moment, because then there was a connection. There's this little moment of him thinking, how do I say this in her language? Now, we can't all do that. I could say, gracias. But just that little giving of himself, just it gave her the support to shift from task focus and stress to having a lovely interaction. And so we can look for little moments to put a smile on someone's face. And so Gratitude. Let's have a look at how can we be expressing gratitude this week. And as I skip forward to this cute little picture, taking steps. What steps can we take this week?
Cute.
And it could be around developing your awareness of yourself and others. It could be gratitude. How do you want to express gratitude to others? So let's have some conversation here in the chat box.
Okay, so anybody? So our participants, we encourage you to answer the question and participate. So Coach Kerrie can.
Yeah. Yes. I'm sure there's been some ideas coming up as we have had this conversation for the last 45 minutes. We can think of different places where we're connecting and how does that impact people? And so we can think about how does it impact us? And when we're connecting with that awareness of self and others, we are connecting with empathy, with compassion. And maybe the way that we connect through LinkedIn might be more. Okay, what the question is, what ideas do you have for how you can be connecting with people with gratitude or with a greater awareness?
So connecting with greater awareness and gratitude.
Yeah.
So they're starting to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. You've got a few minutes to think. And Val says, my partner and I share gratitude points every day when we have our main meal. And that's really lovely. That reminds me, we often, share gratitude at the dinner table. Having a pay it forward attitude, sharing blessings. And you know what? I'm going to share one with you right now. I picked up this little box from the stationery store downtown, and they have little cards that I don't know what they say. I just know they'll be encouraging. It says shine. And so then I pop it open. And it says, inside us, there is everything. We just have to look for it.
Wow.
And that's really interesting, isn't it? Because the other one I picked up that I've already opened says, all the wonders you seek are within yourself. So, but that's an interesting one today, is that says, inside us, there is everything. There is hope and there is despair. There is discouragement and there is encouragement. So again, back to Dr. Schwartz's question, what are you paying attention to? Okay, so Christina says, I think because we're always multitasking, we need to be paying attention to the person we're connecting with and not 10 other things on top of that. On top of that person, being in the moment is expressing gratitude for that moment. That's a really beautiful way of seeing that. Yeah, if we, and sometimes we need to remind ourselves to be grateful for the person that's sitting in front of us. And, but sometimes say, can I just put a couple of things aside? And that comes back to self-awareness too. And I remember when my son was young, I started my coaching business when he was 4 years old. And he would come running into the room and just chat. You know how kids just like talk? They don't even notice if anyone else is talking. And I would say, sweetie, just pause for a moment and just ask, Mummy, can I tell you something? Because that gives me time for my brain to switch gears and go, you absolutely can tell me something. But when you just come in and start talking to me, my brain is engaged in something else. It could be, that focused workspace. And I literally don't hear you. and then I hear the second sentence and I've lost the context. I'm like, sorry, what are we talking about? So very quickly, once I understood what's going on in the brain and just needing to switch focus, my husband and son soon learned to say, can I ask you a question? and it's not like, can I please? But it's giving me an opportunity to shift gears up here. And so we can do that for other people too. We can say, do you have a couple of minutes? I just would love to talk something through. Give them time to put things aside. And if you can see, because you can tell, can't you, if somebody's actually listening to you or if they're just, have all these other things in their mind.
If they're faking it.
Yes. Or if they, now I've got my phone here in the stand. So, but if we just imagine that's my phone, if someone's, if I'm wanting to talk to somebody and they're just like, no, tell me, but they're on their phone, I'm like, you know what, it's fine. I'll tell you when you're ready. And they're just like, no, it's fine. But when you just wait, they'll end up putting it down. Sometimes we need to ask people for their full attention, but we need to be very ready to give that ourselves. Okay, so we've got some more comments here. Simply saying thank you and acknowledgement of the act is a great move. Absolutely. Since I'm working from home, my teammates are the one who's doing my other job, so to show my gratitude to them, I'm sending them food. That's fantastic. Do you have some days where you are just too tired to think about what you're going to eat? So if somebody
that's a happy problem.
Yeah. My husband feeds me, and he said to my son when he was going away one time, he says, you need to make sure that mum eats because she'll get focused.
Because here in the Philippines, unfortunately, their main problem is where to find dinner, where to find
because everything's closed. Yeah. So you can save somebody time. You can save them just the mental energy of having to think about where am I getting the next meal from. So that's beautiful. Recognizing others' emotions and reactions. Would you like to read some of these, Hal?
Okay, from Jeneline Keringal, connecting with others is like sharing our lives with them, and by saying thank you or saying I'm here for you is a big sign of gratitude.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Patricia Lim, thanking my team members for their resilience and dedication to their jobs with all the uncertainties happening.
Yes. Now, can we just pause there for a moment? Because someone said something earlier about uncertainty, like when is this going to end? So I talked about, threats to the brain. And, it can be someone looking at you the wrong way and then you think, oh, they don't like me. A significant threat to the brain is uncertainty. And I actually started speaking about this more in January when we had the bushfires in Australia, because I just noticed how my thinking kept going. Like I was on holidays with my husband and son up in North Queensland and there was no bushfires, but to get him back to the base where he works in Victoria, that whole part of Australia was just ablaze. And I noticed how much my thinking kept going to our travel plans and do I need to change hotels, like change highways and all of this. And I just thought, if I was trying to work right now, I would not be productive because there is this uncertainty. But if we can name it, then we can, diffuse it. It's noticing that, back to the hand model of the brain, noticing that anxiety, that uncertainty, and just going, wow, I feel really uncertain right now. So while that doesn't change, we can give ourselves a sense of certainty. And that then calms our brain and we can come back to our focused thinking. So what can we be certain about? We can be certain that, the person that we've just spoken to, is going to do what they've said they'll do, or we can be certain that we can sit down and write out our ideas. We can be certain, I feel really uncertain, it's just completely got me off track, but what can I do? I can sit down and write some ideas, or I can get on a webinar like this and hear other people's ideas and start listing my own.
Yeah,
and I think we might talk about how we connect online also. And so, is it Francis Lim? It says, grateful to God for another new life, finding joy in seeing sunrise, birds around you. Yeah, absolutely. So there's so much to be grateful for. And that gratitude, while I said it's a powerful connector, it's actually beautiful for ourselves. And when you think about our own brain, it's making beautiful connections in our own thinking, and it's good for our own mental health. So let's have a look at, I'm just close to wrapping up, but my husband just put all these connections there where you can connect with me. But let's have a look at how do we connect with people online. So I mentioned, and he doesn't have LinkedIn there, but that's okay. You can find me on LinkedIn. And if you're connecting with someone on LinkedIn, think about how would you like to be connected with. So if you're sending a message that says, I'm good at this and I can help you, I can help your business. Now, I don't know about you, Hal, but I get a lot of messages from people just saying, buy my product. And I just think, I could accept and just say, no, thank you. But that's not a great start to the relationship, is it?
It's not.
And So, and I'd like your thoughts on this, because I've always said, send a personal note. Like if you're sending me a friend request on Facebook, send a personal note and say, I met you because of Howell, or I was on this webinar. Make a connection.
Yes.
Say something so that the person knows why you're connecting. Even if it's just like, you've got such an interesting profile. Is it okay if I connect? Now, one of my friends, Andrea Edwards, has just published a book about LinkedIn, and she said, don't send personal messages. And I'm like, wow, but I want people to send personal messages. And I can see Christy's just sent a friend request, and she's probably on this call. So send her a message, say, yes, I'm on the call. So Andrea said, executives don't want their time wasted with private messages. Now, I know that my private messages would stand out because they would actually be acknowledging the person, saying something about their profile. But I've got a few just sitting in the requests at the moment, and I'm like, when I have time, I might write back. But these people, they don't even know my name. I mean, they've sent a request to me, but it doesn't say hi, Kerrie. It just says, hi, I like all your posts and I agree with them. We should connect. And I think
it's very generic.
It is very generic because I've never seen this man's name before. So if he says, I've been following your posts, I like them and agree with them, then why have I never seen him comment on any of the posts? So I think that's the space to connect with people. If you can connect on their activity and say, wow, that's a really thought-provoking article, they're far more likely to accept your friend request if you're actually building relationship publicly. And online is like offline, isn't it? If I go into a room and I just pass you a little note and say, please connect with me, you'd be like, that's a bit weird. Why is she being secretive? But if I just went, Howell, Kerrie Phipps, good to meet you. I've heard great things about your work. Then you're like, oh, okay, cool. It's kind of safe, it's public, and we've connected in front of people. So there's Christy being a proactive connector. I love it. So think about, what are people receiving in their inboxes? Yeah. And if you actually are following their work, then comment on their work. Don't be shy to comment publicly. So yeah, think about how you're connecting. And so when we're thinking about, ideas, how do we connect with people? Remember that they're people on the other side of the screen. And, I just want to share about the Anchor FM, any podcast that you search on. I've just launched a podcast. This is something that's come out of the isolation period because my husband's been telling me to do it for a while. One of my clients is actually blind, and she said, I was going to do a video Zoom with her, which she's fine with, but just the technology, she said, it's just easier if it's audio. And we just went, let's just do a podcast. So now I have this podcast. And, I'd written out a whole introduction, a few paragraphs about it. My husband took the very last line of it and put it in the banner for on my website on kerriefitz.com. And it says, leave intimidation and inadequacies behind and make a bigger difference in the world. And I have to tell you, I felt more vulnerable. I said, where did you get that from? And he said, you wrote it.
You wrote it.
And I was like, oh, it just, you share something really honest, and then you think, oh goodness, that's really kind of out there. That's brave. That's being me. But I realized that is my story. It's not a story of just becoming a confident person. It's a story of overcoming inadequacy, a sense of inadequacy and intimidation, and moving forward anyway. Not waiting till I've got all my ducks in a row, because if I've got ducks, they're everywhere. We can't just wait to get things, in order to be confident. And so as I've been interviewing people for these podcasts, and you will see some Philippines guests, Filipino guests.
Filipinos, yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm tongue-tied. But I've got guests from all over the world, and I notice as they tell their stories of things that they did, like confident things, they were confident after they took the step. So when you think about, the bungee jumping or the taking a leap, even Winnie the Pooh bouncing across those stepping stones, you're confident when you get to the other side and you go, look what I did, woohoo! But in the meantime, when you're stepping out, you're like, can I do this? I hope I can do this. I hope I can do this. And so I want to encourage people. You might not feel confident to connect, but once you've gone out and made the connection, then you're buzzing with excitement because cool things are happening. So we are going to take a little break in a moment, and I just have a couple of photos. And because somebody said something about birds a moment ago, I'm going to share with you my last picture. This is actually my son in the red shirt. This is at Goward Kalinga Enchanted Farm. Have you been to the Enchanted Farm?
Not personally, no. But yes, Goward Kalinga has been big in helping people build their homes.
Yes, yeah. Incredible stories there. And so I've had the privilege of speaking to the entrepreneurship students there. And I just love that photo because there are 4 cultures represented there, 4 nationalities. There's Australian, Filipino, French, and Danish. And
well represented.
Yeah, and I just love connecting with people. Actually, it's because of Patricia Lim that I connected with the Enchanted Farm and Goward Kalinga. And so you'd be delighted to know if anyone wants to get any of my ebooks, I discounted the price significantly because of COVID-19, because some countries you can't even order the books online. We can't ship books anywhere in some countries. So I just made the ebooks super cheap. And and so for the next week, because I've been on this call, then we are giving to Goward Kalinga projects. We're feeding children in the Philippines as a result of any book sales. So now's the time to jump in there and have a look. And there's just a beautiful picture for our friend who was appreciating birds and nature. I can't think who that was. I said to my husband, he says, what are you doing with these photos at the end? I said, I don't know, just leave them there. So we'll just leave that picture there while we take a break for a moment, Hal, and then we're coming back with Q&A.
Thank you so much, Coach Kerrie.
You are welcome. In the meantime, I'm going to look at all these messages that we've missed because we will continue the discussion with them.
We definitely will. So everybody put your hands together for Coach Kerrie Phipps. You are an amazing storyteller. You had, from childhood to where you have arrived right now. You had a colorful childhood. I can identify with you because I also grew up in the countryside. I was born at the foot of a mountain. And so on weekends, we'd go to the forest, to the farms, to the streams, and get hurt and got hurt sometimes, but it's okay. And you know what? We are fortunate to have you, Coach Kerrie. And everybody's applauding you with gratitude messages and clap offerings. Thank you so much. To our participants here in Zoom, don't go away. We'll be pausing for a 2-minute break so that every one of us, including Coach Kerrie, can grab a drink or something to bite. Wait, it's way past dinner time in Australia right now. At least it's dinner time already in Australia. So everybody, don't you go away. We'll be returning in 2 minutes. And then when we return, we'll be entertaining as much questions as we can. It's a first come, first served basis. So don't you go away. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
And welcome back to our webinar with Coach Kerrie Phipps. Before I call her back on screen, I'd like to read something from this slide. Support our frontliners. This is our way of helping during COVID-19. Learn and share. The call of the moment is to give back and pay forward. While you gain access to all our live webinar series for a cause from April to May and June, and this will go on till July, you may donate an amount to help families in distress. Together, let's show our support to our fellow Filipinos who are in survival mode during this difficult time of the global health crisis. So act now. Let's click and donate. This is in partnership with Ariva Foundation, Ariva Achievers Foundation, Bayanihan Act 2020, and Bayan ng Mahayhay. So we give something to you and we don't ask for anything in return, but we plead you and we thank you in advance for giving something to the people who are in need right now. So thanks everyone. That's ariva.com.ph/donation. Also, Coach Kerrie, we have participants from Albay, Bacolod, Baguio, Batangas, Bulacan, Butuan City, Cabanatuan, Cagayan de Oro, Cebu, Davao, General Santos City, Iloilo, Laguna, Nueva Vizcaya, Quezon Province, Rizal Province, and Zamboanga, aside from NCR. So thank you for supporting our webinars.
Wow.
So for our
Amazing.
Q&A, yes, amazing indeed, Coach. So we
Now,
have...
Can I just check in? Because I've taken a seat and I can't see myself, so I don't know if the camera's
Don't
in
you
the right
worry,
place.
we can see you. But can you see the screen, the slides?
I can see the
Will you
Q&A,
be able to see the
yes.
Q&A? Okay.
Yes, I can see two questions there.
Did you receive the pre-sent questions that our participants submitted yesterday? If not, I can read it to you.
No, if you can read them, that would be great.
Okay. So
Thank
for
you.
our Zoom participants, please type in your question at the Q&A box. You can also do Zoom live questions by clicking the raise hand button. And for our YouTube live viewers, type in your questions on the comment box. So for the first question, if it's okay, Coach, I'll be reading from the pre-sent question. So, Marian Alonso, how do you start a conversation with a total stranger and gain confidence and get yourself out there? But how do you stay genuine? I believe it's a long question and you have answered the starting a conversation and gaining confidence. The last part, how do you stay genuine?
Staying genuine? Yeah, that's fantastic. I think we can be ourselves, we can be more genuine when we let go of that conversation in the head that is like maybe we're judging ourselves or maybe we're thinking that they're judging us. But one great way to, I love that she's asking about talking to strangers because this is a great way to build confidence. And one thing that really helps is to comment on something that is not about the person, you know, because people will say, you know, just compliment their handbag, the shoes, you know, and I often wear red shoes. So people say, oh, great shoes. So that's fine. If someone's wearing like bright red something, then, you know, you're going to get comments. But it can really take the pressure off both people. If you're not sure how a stranger is going to interact with you, don't make it about them. Don't make it about yourself, but something else like, wow, isn't the sunset stunning today? You know, and if it's something happy, if it's joyful, then it's easy to engage with. If it's like, wow, that building went up so fast, didn't it? I've seen how fast the buildings go up in the Philippines. You know, it's like, wow, it's amazing to see how these things happen so fast, or what a stunning artwork. You know, and then maybe you can follow up with a question like, you know, do you know your way around here? Because if you ask for directions, people are so often really happy to help. Sometimes they don't know and they don't like that they don't know. So they might get a bit worried. But if we're ready to just go, oh, don't worry if you're not familiar, you know, I'm new here. And I found that it can really help to take the pressure off the stranger by, you know, sort of giving a reason why you're asking. You know, it's like, oh, I haven't been here before. I was just wondering if you know, have a favorite cafe around here or something. But talking about things that are positive, that are, you know, your favorite, asking somebody for their recommendations, their favorite thing or their best experience, then they're really happy to share that because there's no wrong answer. Whereas if I, try and engage you in a conversation about politics of the day, just not good energy, is there? Who wants to talk about that?
It's negative and dark and heavy and divisive.
Yeah. And when you're traveling, you might be on a train or a bus or just seeing somebody, sitting on a picnic bench reading a book, to ask, do you mind if I ask you about your book? Or what's the best book that you've read? And actually, next week's podcast has such a great story of someone, rather than going and talking to the people he was comfortable with, he went and talked to a stranger who didn't look very happy. And that stranger ended up being a significant connector in a new business. And so beautiful things happen when we get out of our comfort zone and just think, how can I go and make somebody else's day?
Wonderful.
So just practice. Go out and talk to people about simple things. Be yourself.
Thank you, Coach. Let's read from the Q&A box. Meljun Cortez is asking how to conquer loneliness that leads to depression. According to Lady Gaga, drama is the ultimate thing to suicidal. What do you think this kind of depression is, and what are the best way to boost low self-esteem? Thanks so much. Thank you, Meljun, for that.
Yeah, and we just need to remember that in our darkest times, it's not the end of the road. Sometimes I felt like this is rock bottom, and it's like I thought last time it was rock bottom, that was rock bottom, but this is worse. And I really went through that significantly as a teenager. I was suicidal and made a couple of attempts on my life, and it was the encouragement of people, like I said to you before, that really makes a big difference. It is. And, writing it out. And, we actually had a young Filipino that I connected with who, went through some traumatic experiences and was messaging and saying, I want to kill myself. And it's like, that's very hard on the end of a text message. When you're looking at somebody face to face, to encourage people, like a lot of people have felt like there is no hope. We cannot go forward from here, but there is better days ahead. And, we know that, we've experienced that, and we need to believe that and encourage ourselves with it and encourage others. And I'm not sure how it is in the Philippines, but there are places that you can call. There are like helplines. In Australia, we have Beyond Blue and we have Lifeline and, phone counsellors, talk to doctors, because we can, be completely depleted of, the brain chemicals that keep us balanced. And, so we might need to talk to a doctor about it. But, it's really important to get professional help. And when you're talking to friends, just be really mindful that they might not understand what it's like to feel like that. And they don't know what to do with it. So they can say things that, maybe are a bit thoughtless, because they're just reacting to, I don't know what to do with this, and they're just worried about you. So, so get help and know that there is help. There are people that care, and you can go from feeling like in the worst, lowest point. And, I really did not have any hope for the future. And I don't usually talk about this, but on a podcast the other day, it's not produced yet, but I interviewed somebody about her 15-year-old self. I said, what did you think your 15-year-old self would be, doing now? And because so many jobs that we have now did not exist when we're back at school. Anyway, and so she told me that, she wanted to be an actress. And then she just suddenly said, what about you, Kerrie? And I just went, well, actually at 15, I didn't have hope for the future. And, so it's really, I'm glad that I hung in there, that I had friends that helped me hang in there, because, now I've been blessed with opportunities to travel. Like the Philippines, I've been there 7 times between 2015 and 2018.
Wow. And I think the pain you experienced in childhood and as a young girl made you even more authentic. So that when you connect with people who are in the same pain that you were in, you would feel that you actually are there for them.
I get it. And I know that some days are just really, really hard, but some days are so beautiful you just wouldn't want to swap.
So what do you do, Coach Kerrie, when you feel exhausted? Because I can relate with you. You know what? Encouraging people can sometimes be exhausting.
Yeah.
Not that you are tired, but that you have given everything you have. So how do you replenish the energy, the positivity?
Okay, two things come to mind there. The first is sometimes I will get help for somebody. So when I told you about, excuse me, that young person saying, I just want to kill myself. I'd put in so much encouragement, just so much, support, encouragement. And then I hear the same thing again. And I say to my husband, I don't know what to do. And he's like, I'll give him a call. So I think sharing the load and he would be heartbroken to hear me say that because it's not a load. Somebody else called me at 11 o'clock the other night and messaged, are you awake? Can I call? And I went, based on the last conversation I had with her, and I don't really know her, but she's in my neighborhood. I got out of bed because I was just going to bed. Got out of bed and called her and she was really going through some family issues. And it's like, you know what? I'll just like sleep in tomorrow. I'll just have a day off. But I find journaling really helpful. And in fact, my first book is a journal. And that's one that we put up on the website and made it the cheapest one so that people would get it and write. Because
so for our participants,
write your way to healing, write your way to clarity. Just and sometimes I might start the journal with, I don't know what to write, but I just need to brain dump. So it's just like, just start putting words on paper. Even if you start scribbling, just get the words out there. Yeah, it really helps.
Thank you for the tip, Coach Kerrie. Yeah. Now we have a Zoom live question from Crescencia Bisnar. Miss Crescencia, are you still here with us? I'm sorry for keeping you. Are you still with us, Ma'am Crescencia Bisnar? For the live Zoom question.
Oh, cool. So she'll pop in here.
So let me hear from Ariva Academy Philippines Inc. admin. Is she still here? Crescencia Bisnar. So in the meantime, let's read the next question at the Q&A box. Val Clark is saying, going back to your earlier comments about our purpose, Ma'am Kerrie, have you any suggestions for finding a way forward when there are so many things to be done?
Yeah.
So many balls in the air to juggle, perhaps. That focusing on one or choosing which one to focus on feels impossible.
Yeah. I like that you threw in the word, to juggle because, look at this. I've got a ball here.
You seem prepared for the question. You had the freshly cut branch of a tree. You have a ball. You have a glass of water. You have everything.
Yeah, and I even have my.
And your backyard.
That's right. Yes, the name disappeared again. This is for. I'll come back to this if we have time, but. I just thought sometimes we just need to let the balls fall down or just put some down. And, this whole COVID season is a bit of a season like that, isn't it? It's like, have you ever said, and I don't know, maybe Val said this, I just wish the world would stop, so I can kind of feel like I can catch up. And it's like, oh my goodness, the world has kind of stopped. And we can't go out and do all the things that we were doing. And it's a time of reassessing. But I think it's constantly sorting through words, and asking ourselves questions. And so, like in the journal, I've got lots of questions that help me think about, am I clear on these things? Am I spending my time wisely? Who do I admire? What is it about them? And what are the, it really did take a while to narrow down the, the feeling that my purpose is to encourage people. And there's so many different ways we can look at things. What are my values? And, I had, as a coach, I've got a process that helps people to identify their top 6 values. And then I read Brene Brown's book, I think it's Dare to Lead. It's one of her recent books where she challenges us to narrow it down to the top 2. I'm like, oh my word. So again, it's that sifting. What connects and what doesn't? What can we just park to the side? And like, if we need to pick it up later, we can, but let's just put it to the side. And so I narrowed it down to faith and encouragement. And encouragement, I see, is putting courage in people and in myself too, because I need to give myself courage sometimes to step forward when I don't want to. So I think sometimes we just want clarity immediately, but it's a lot of conversations. It's listening to podcasts that help us clarify things. It's putting thoughts on paper. And Post-it notes can be really. Here's another prop. Post-it notes. Start sifting through and asking yourself, how do I feel about that? Maybe out of 10, how much energy do I have for that? Out of 10. And I think it's John Maxwell has a process of like urgent and important to, start assessing things. Is it urgent? Is it important? Is it urgent and important? Because some things are urgent, but it's somebody else's urgent. And maybe we can say,
tasks.
Maybe we can just say, no, thank you. You might need to, get somebody else to help you with that.
And sometimes it's hard for Filipinos to say no.
Yeah.
That's
Some Aussies too. Yeah. I think when we want to help people, but I think we need to realize, and this comes back to you asking about looking after myself or refreshing myself. I think we need to notice that for me to serve the world well, it's not saying yes to everything. It's actually saying no to a lot of things.
I agree.
And I did a Facebook Live a couple of days ago, and I just went, I'm just feeling more and more like I just need more time out. I just need more time to just walk and think. And, we can't be pressured by what everybody else is doing at this particular time of day. Maybe everyone else is in the office right now, but if we need to just get out, go for a walk, then maybe we need to do that. So it's, coming right back to the beginning of the session, listening to ourselves, listening to our body. And that was, another thing that I didn't even get to tell you was like 17 years ago, I was in chronic burnout. Like my body started shutting down. I just literally couldn't function. And a psychologist friend of mine who started helping me through that process, he said, you need to listen to your body. And I just thought that was the most unusual thing. I'd never heard anyone say that. I think we hear that phrase a lot more now. But as I did start to pay attention inwardly, I started noticing all kind of symptoms that I had been ignoring for so long that I just, you put up with things and you just think it's normal. When you think about it, you're like, yeah, maybe I don't need to, carry that stress or anxiety. Yeah. So
that's wonderful.
More time listening to ourselves.
Listen to yourself, Val Clark, and it's okay to put down all the balls that you've been juggling and focus on what's urgent and learn how to say no.
Important, yeah.
Sir Val Clark, learn how to say no.
She's a wise woman, and sometimes we need to ask ourselves. And my coach last week said to me, "What do you need to ask yourself?" And I went, "Oh, that's fantastic. Great question."
Now, Coach, very simple question from Jocelyn Melano: how to be confident? If you can give her some tips.
Yeah, well, I think it's practicing things, and it's also having grace for yourself. So this is where the ball's going to come out, okay? So if I was to say, can I just throw this ball to you? If you were sitting here in front of me, the front row, there would be people who like lean forward to catch the ball, and other people would be like, don't look at me. Yeah. But we just practice, and we're okay if we drop it, then we can just pick it up again. So conversations are like that. It's like I might see you, Howell, in a conference room or something, and just think, oh, I'd like to talk to him, but he looks like maybe he's busy, and he looks like he's important. Maybe I shouldn't. But it's like just going and saying hello is like offering you. I'm just like throwing you a hello. I'm throwing you an opportunity to connect. And you might drop it because you're busy or you just didn't see it coming and somebody else spoke to you. And it's like, that's okay. If it falls to the ground, it's okay. Pick it up and go and, try to connect with somebody else. But we need to stop being hard on ourselves and have unreasonable expectations on ourselves. And I would say, believe what the encouragers in your world say. So did you say it was Christina who asked that question?
The question was asked by, it was sent last night by Jocelyn Melano, how to be confident. Jocelyn.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Coach Kerrie. Yes, anything else?
That was helpful. Yeah. Just practice, because I think
practice.
Yeah, and be okay. I've used this as a hashtag. Be okay with awkward, because we're
with awkward.
Yeah, we're so scared of awkward moments. We don't want to go and talk to somebody in case it's awkward, but it can be amazing on the other side of the awkwardness. And for those who follow Brene Brown, you might have noticed that just this year she started saying, "Stay awkward, brave, and kind."
Wow.
And yeah, it's powerful, because beyond the awkwardness, it's the, it's maybe the, "Excuse me, could I ask you a question?" And if you say to somebody like, "I feel a bit awkward, but I just wanted to ask," like, what happens? They want to rescue you from feeling awkward, because they don't want to feel awkward. So they're just like, no, it's fine. Let me help you.
Yes.
So even just say it. Just say, "I feel awkward, but I would like to, do this. I'd like to ask this." And embrace awkwardness. It's pretty powerful.
In fact, awkward people are among the most respectful people to meet on a daily basis.
Yeah, they can be quite endearing.
They're endearing. They're respectful. They are polite. And so embrace that. Be awkward. Be brave.
Yeah. Be okay with awkward. Yes.
Be okay with awkward. So, Coach Kerrie, before I'm sure, and I know it's already dinner time in Australia, but the last minute of our webinar is the takeaway. Aside from all the encouragement you've given us, it's been an hour and a half of positivity and practical tips and beautiful story. If there's one thought you'd like us to think about and process before we sleep tonight, what would that
be? That's a beautiful question, and I'm sorry I was completely distracted seeing Jackie Postleway commenting here. So I love that.
So sure.
Jackie.
You read that.
Yeah, so lots of love to Jackie.
She can watch the replay.
Yeah, she must be in the UK, though I've met her in Australia. So final thoughts. I would just say I'm cheering you on, and your best days are ahead of you. So yeah, just go connect with confidence and authenticity, and be kind to yourself.
And I felt you all throughout the 1.5 hour, your authenticity, your genuineness, your kindness, and your positivity. For that, we thank you, Coach Kerrie of Phipps. Big hand for Coach Kerrie, everyone. And I hope to see you in the Philippines face to face once you have the opportunity to come back, and once it's already safe for all of us.
Yes, I do hope to be back with you soon. I mentioned, that article that's being published next week. Just message me on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever if you want it. But I wrote about how do we best serve the world right now, and I think that is like the question that I'd like to leave us with. Because you serve the world best by being yourself and bringing your gifts to the world, and it could be in small ways that don't actually fatigue you, but that actually bring you great joy. So the world wants you to go connect with them.
Lovely. And brilliant at the same time. Thank you so much, Coach Kerrie Phipps.
Thank you, Hal.
I felt like being recharged 101%.
Oh, that's fantastic.
By your presence and your energy and your message and your kindness. We thank
you.
So everybody give it up for Coach Kerrie. Yes, ma'am. You want to say something?
I just want to say, and thank you so much for organizing this. I just think it's powerful for the people who are on all of these calls, and I know there would be so many, but also the fundraising that you're doing for the healthcare workers are so important. And as I said, we're supporting Garrett Kalinga also. But I just wanted to read to you. I hope Patricia doesn't mind, but she said, "My team was so thrilled to be part of this. We need this lift." And so they are doing beautiful work across the Philippines, right across the Philippines also. And so I want to thank you, Hal, and Anne, and Irish, and Jeffrey, everyone behind the scenes that has brought this together. It's you're making a bigger difference than you know.
Thank you so much for the validation of what we're doing and what we've been doing since April. Thank you, Coach Kerrie. Such an encourager. You are heaven sent. and you are God-given. We thank you so much.
Thank you.
So
Harold.
everybody, again, and as Coach
thank you.
Kerrie fades out of the screen, one beautiful lady fading out of the screen, fades in another beautiful human being, Miss Irish
Hi, Sir
Malonda
Howell.
Samson.
So before
My
anything
heart is
else,
so filled with joy and
I
positivity.
can see that, Sir Howell. So
Yeah.
before anything else, I would just
Mhm.
like to, in behalf of Ariva Academy, I would just like to thank Coach Kerrie for sharing with us her wisdom,
Yes.
for sharing with us her asking model and how to connect with clarity and confidence, especially now. This is vital, especially nowadays.
I agree. And you know what? I'm sure you're going to ask me about my takeaway.
Yes, sir.
My takeaway is that it's possible for a person to be both shy and confident, be kind and brave, be hurting but healing, be in pain and be a gift to the humankind. And that is who Coach Kerrie Phipps is. And that's my biggest takeaway.
Wow, that's really profound. Okay, so mine is well, of course, I've got lots of words here: agility, conversations, connectedness, connections, authenticity. What struck me most is the quote from Coach: "When your purpose is clear and you're greater than your fear, your nervousness will disappear." Well, for me, you know me as an introvert. So
I've known you as an introvert, but not anymore.
I have fear in public speaking, and this aligns with our purpose. This
Yes.
aligns with our e-learning session. So at first, thinking of this as a host, of course, I have hesitations as I have a fear in public speaking. But knowing the purpose of this webinar series for a cause, knowing what will be the impact to our society, to the workers during the quarantine, and now continuously helping others, well,
Yes.
no fear at all, of course.
No
I will
fear
do
at all.
whatever. Yes.
So I'm raising both hands.
And
You did a great job.
thank you as well for the affirmations from our viewers.
Thank you, viewers.
That somehow we were able to help you with this live webinar series for us.
And the beauty of this webinar is that this will go on for as long as there is internet. And generation to generation, they can revisit this YouTube live stream as part of a replay, and hundreds and thousands more.
This will be our legacy, sir.
Will be blessed. It will be our legacy. Thank you, Miss Irish Malonda Samson.
Thank you as well, Sir Howell, for being a part of this live webinar series.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
I will be seeing you tomorrow for another e-learning sessions.
Sessions,
yes, sir.
Okay, so what time tayo tomorrow?
3
umaga.
2, yes.
Okay, we have one in the morning and one in the afternoon.
In the evening.
Okay, so thank you so much, Miss Irish.
So
Don't
much,
you go
Sir
away.
Howell.
May announcement pa si Miss Irish.
Yes, and Ariva Academy would like to thank the following win-win sponsors who are helping us to make this e-learning session possible. We would like to thank our official media partner, Art Plus Magazine, digital media partners, Focus Media, Globaltronics, City Advertising Ventures, Outcome, Elevate Media. For win-win partners, thank you as well to Brother, Faber-Castell, Gluta-C, Moringa O2, KFC, Mr. Donut, Tokyo, Lotus Biscuit, Boss Job, Sir Technology Inc., Finma Properties, Salary Jet, Ilawi Korea, Kitosan and Carpo Consulting, Enchanted Kingdom, Disperse, Cosmetech Philippines Inc. MindChom's virtual preschool program. To register, please call them at 0906-486-0710 or email them at bisachanabe@mindchoms.org. We would like to thank as well Essential Safety Products PH for your personal protective equipments and for your health and safety compliance requirements against COVID-19. Please like them at their Facebook page, Essential Safety Products PH, and email them at their email address, essentialsafetyph@gmail.com. If you want to place your ads here, advertise your company, your services, your logo, and have a brand exposure to thousands of viewers through Zoom, LinkedIn, FB, and YouTube, please email us at marketing@ariva.com.ph. And to stop on top of our insights and updates, stay connected, visit us on our social media channels. Please join us at the Ariva Academy Facebook group, like the Ariva Academy Facebook fan page, follow the Ariva Academy LinkedIn page, and visit us on our website, www.ariva.com.ph. And if you missed watching our live webinars, you want to watch a replay of our session this afternoon and the previous e-learning sessions, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Ariva Academy and Ariva Talks. Again, it's Ariva Academy and Ariva Talks. And for our upcoming online learning sessions, we would like to again invite you for our HR Virtual Summit PH 2020. This is a live webinar series for a cause, and we have invited international and local subject matter experts to share with us their wisdom in the HR field. This session with Coach Kerrie Phipps is one of our series in this HR Virtual Summit PH 2020. This will be tomorrow, June 11, 3 to 4:30 p.m. We will be having Attorney Erwin Sigala to discuss picking up the pieces, 3 legal areas that need your attention post-quarantine. So don't forget to join us tomorrow. Another e-learning masterclass, live webinar series for a cause, gratitude attracts gratitude, encouragement in times of crisis. This will be tomorrow as well, 6 to 7 in the evening. And we will be having another global keynote speaker, Coach Chester Elton, to talk about this session. An e-learning masterclass from none other than Mr. Jonathan Yabut, how to manage the millennials in the workplace. This will be on Tuesday, June 16. This is only $799 per participant. Don't forget to join us. Another e-learning masterclass from Mr. Jonathan Yabut, Work Smart, Not Just Hard, how to boost your productivity at work. This will be on Wednesday, June 17, 4 to 6 p.m. And we will be having Coach Randy Esguerra to talk about the brightness amidst the crisis, maintaining the right attitudes during COVID-19 pandemic. And this will be on Wednesday next week, June 17, 2 to 3 in the afternoon. A masterclass from Mr. Chris Randolph, prospecting, cold calling, telephone sales, and closing the deal. This will be on Thursday, June 18, 3 to 5 p.m. It's only $899 per participant. The second batch of online selling from home, how to use FB, IG, and LinkedIn for your business. This will be on Wednesday, June 24, 4 to 6 in the afternoon. And of course, this will be discussed by Mr. Jonathan Yabut. And we would like to invite you on the masterclass series. Of course, this will be conducted by Mr. Hubble Mabalat, our moderator, how to communicate with diplomacy, tact, and credibility in times of chaos. This will be on June 30. Leadership skills for supervisors in turbulent times. This will be on July 16. And how to take on greater responsibilities, step up skills for non-managers, July 29. Don't forget to join us in the masterclass series. And if you want to customize an e-learning session for your team, for your company, invite our Ariva partner speakers, invite our guest speakers. Please do reach me at 0916-695-4418 or email me at irish.arivaacademy@gmail.com. And that's it, guys. Hope that you learned a lot from Coach Kerrie Phipps. Don't forget to join us again tomorrow for another live webinar series for a cause. Again, this is Irish Malonde Samson. In Ariva, it's all about being better. Be safe and have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.